One and all, I refuse to do him dirty like that. We run it back. We give Crackety a second chance here. Knights Templar once again against House of Lancaster. This time, though, BC has been substituted out for Striker. And wow, look at the difference. Don't do Striker dirty. We've seen him with some amazing games. You remember Striker, he had one of the most incredible games on Anatoly Hills in KPMM up against Voldemort. So definitely a capable player. Curious to see what his approach is going to be to Hull. Oh, wait, we can't have Hull because we have House of Learning. I am genuinely just going to call them Lancastrians. Lancastrians is a pretty cool word. And I've also just already decided that, like, Knights Templar is KT. I think KT sounds kind of cool. So, Crackety, we've seen him try the French ways. Is he going to try it again? Last game, he went for this interesting kind of fortress rush to secure the Pilgrims. It may have ran into some lords on the road. Let's see if something similar happens this game. Does Striker real? Oh, no. Striker doesn't leverage it the same way. Did he run into the enemy scout perchance? So interesting difference here. Look at what Striker done. This isn't leveraging maximum cost on the map. Ideally, what you want to do in this situation is like run parallel and get half the map. Because a cool little thing that House of Lancaster has is with the extra 4 sheep start, you don't need to come home as soon. Maybe he was worried, though. It might have been that he glimpsed Crackety here, and then Crackety cut him off. Because like Crackety's read on how to rotate here is really smart against Lancaster. Ideally, Lancaster wants that 50% rotation. But if you cut the divide, you know roughly where they're spawning because you know where you spawn. So with this kind of spawn, the worst thing Crackety could have done is technically ran like this, because it would have invited Striker to run like this. And then the difference is that once Crackety gets here, he has to circle around and come home. So really well played. Good, really great actually adaptation from just the last game. And great results. Looks like it's going to be 13 sheep to 14. And remember, Striker got an extra 4 for free. So we do already have a Mountain to the Stone. It's going to be the Kingdom of France again. Apparently, no matter how hard Crackety tries, in his heart of all hearts, he still just wants to be a Frenchman. We do have probably second TC. You don't really rush Fortress. I don't think it's really worth it. And we have a very different game here. Striker is going Lancaster Castle. This is 2 TC. I think so. With the way he split it, it kind of looks like 2 TC. I can't think of why else you'd want to build the keep this far out. Lancaster Castle isn't that much of a protector, though, guys. We highlighted this in the Warman game after I myself got baited into thinking you'd garrison, and then we realized you can't. I wonder if Striker knows. In theory, you can litter this area of manors, and then it's very much protected because the manors will shoot arrows. Then again, you're against heavy cavalry. And there you go. So for those wondering how can you tell which tech choice your opponent made, with the Knights Templar, all you have to do is look at the TC. The TC will have a little wavy flag here. Second age up, I believe, was the east side, and I think third age up was a replacement on this little flag here. Actually, no, did they change it? It might be boom, boom, boom. I'd have to double check, though. There is another way to see, and that's through fortresses. When Knights Templar builds fortresses, it will also show the flag. But we're a bit early in the game for that. We can see the intent. Okay, yeah, he's going for mana stacked around the Lancaster Castle and then defense. You're worried it's not viewable on low graphics. Really? I mean, I don't want to change my graphics to low, though. Because if I did, I wouldn't be able to show you how sick the Lancaster Castle looks. In fact, I'm even going to do this. One sec. So I need to go... wait, no, what? Oh, wrong thing. Cinematic, baby. Wait, but that looks horrible because we need to go... Oh, look at that. That's a beaut. That right there is a keeper. How do I get... Oh no. Okay. So, back to the Crackety side of things. We do have the second TC now coming in. Wait, on the stone? Okay, he's going for the fortress again. This man is obsessed. Someone get this man a trip to Mecca. He is obsessed with the pilgrims. Hard to believe that it's not garrisonable, right? It's so baity. It's also, by the way, because it's like the iconic Lancaster gate, It looks like another landmark that should be able to be walled into. This is the Golden Gate all over again. Okay, so additional mana's on the way. Wait, there we go. He did remember. He's just spreading it out because remember it's more efficient to build them with one villager than build with two. Kind of to a debatable degree because if you build them quicker, they generate resources sooner, but still. Like the reality is it's 45-second build speed. If you add an extra villager on top of that, you're going to end up building it in about 32 seconds instead. It's not that much faster versus just having two up in 45. And we do have archers. Okay, this is actually good news for Crackety. It's not the Lancastrian Lord build that can kind of shut you down early if you try to expand greedily. We do already have pilgrims walking the west side. Oh, by the way, pathing check. That's a good vibe right there. More defensive pathing, more aggressive. We don't have the trading issue with the pilgrims, at least not in this game. Fury Fortress Rush shouldn't work on Lancaster. You could actually build on your opponent's side quite easily because you have short bows. So technically, I disagree with that. I think Lancastrian castle rushes could technically work. It's just you need to make sure you're not scoured. Because remember, you still have short bows. Like, there is finally a second Civ that has the OP villages for Dark Age. And it is going to be House of Lancaster. Curious why Crackety's so obsessed with the knights, by the way. I think the thought process is by going for the French commandery, he's going to be able to scale a lot of army after doing eco. Because remember, the commandery, it does give a 5% discount on all gold units, but the really big deal is actually the 15% production speed. That's almost half of what you get from Military Academy. And you just get it as an age-up effect. So if you play like 2TCE, Mass Pilgrims, playing the castle, all of a sudden you can just start vomiting out troops at a ridiculous pace. Especially when you consider the trickle details between. For example, the fact like you actually build up quite a lot of food when you're just gathering wood. Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. With the fact that Knights Templar gather food while gathering wood, I think the intent here was to encourage archer play on a civ that feels very discouraged. Same logic into why they have the 15% range buff on fortresses. The Pilgrim, oh, he gets in! Okay, Yeomans couldn't block him out in time. This is where you want to switch through and Crackety straight on it. Okay, this is going to be very tilting. You're basically kind of playing the English build here with spears plus longbows, just Yeoman instead. But the issue that you now have is you're a little bit immobile and Crackety is playing wide. He switched sides. I always read it as Lannister. Yeah, the problem is like Lannisters, you'd need... Game of Thrones would need a York comparison to really switch onto the War of the Roses. Stark? Yeah, but Stark doesn't sound like York. It may be that Stark is York, but they don't sound like it, you know? They should have been called Gork. Wait, no. No, don't do that. Rourke. Rourke would have been pretty cool. And it's not because I'm a sucker for Guild Wars and Rourke, who was like the absolute Giga Chad of the entire Guild Wars world. If you know, you know. This is an all-in kill point. I think we got Siege Engineering on the way soon. Steel Tower's coming in. Reminder, by the way, these yeomen are very unique. I love the concept. Base damage is standard archer. They cost a premium. They're 90 resources. The reason is the extra tower range and the movement speed. They are kind of like HRE archers. I love this. They're so fast. They're so fast. So powerful. Ambitious dive, maybe a bit prematurely. Striker needs to slow down. If he can afford 2 rams, that's definitely optimal here. Needs to be fast, though. The first of the Chevalier Confrère has arrived. Do I get, like, what? Do I get extra subs for saying that with the correct roll of the French R? I didn't even, like, oh my god, something's happening to me. I didn't even do that intentionally. That was just subconsciously. Confrère? That one was intentional. That's either going to really tilt people in official casts, or it's going to make them really happy. I'm about to get like a org signing opportunity with Gentlemates. I can predict it. So Fortress coming in at home. Oh, Crackety's been reading his notes. Yeah, cool little detail here, folks. Actually, this is double fold. This is disgusting from Crackety. He knows Yeoman are going to outrange him, So the fortress is going to give him 15% increased range to gap close. That'll be 5.75. And then standing on the wall is going to buff his range further. But not just that. The Knights Templar have this unique thing, crenellations, where they can give walls arrows left. I think that's what he's going for here. Double rams coming in, though. The fortress is going to be there. There's the extra range, 5.75. He didn't complete the wall. He doesn't really have a way of burning through this. He actually basically needs to get the villagers out. He's still outranged by these yeomen. Second ram is going to be arriving, but Striker losing a lot just coming anywhere near that fortress. 15 garrison spots will do that to you. Yeah, he has to back away. He's going to need additionals. Stone walls and feudal. That's true, actually. Yeah, you're right, but this son of a... All right, Crackety, this is like unacceptable. But I think he wanted to show off the arrow slit. So you're seeing that correctly. This poor piece has got 8 tower range and 8 bow damage. Why? Okay, it's cool, but this is exactly why you should not be able to build walls in Feudal Age anymore. This is going to be a problem, a huge problem, in fact. Yeah, Crackety is banned from the non-existent tournament that we're casting here. What a scumbag, a rapscallion. I think he's just so scarred by the beastie defeats, like, not again. If I was Striker, I'd be all chat reeing right now. Behind this, we do have Survival Technique. Striker's doing a really good job of playing the map. Because remember, this is not English. Like, I really need to emphasize to people, so different to English. Yes, we've got like an extra range archer, I get it. Haha, similar. But you don't do a farm transition. They cost 75 wood. You don't get the 37 wood discount. On top of that, you don't get a buff to your gathering rate and farms. So you're actually more inclined to play out onto things like deer compared to standard English that by now would have added in 2 farm costs. Very, very different civ. And that's also why the manas are important. It's kind of your pseudo farm effect here. In fact, it's why he's adding them in now. Castle, just around the corner. At which point, Striker would be legally allowed to build walls. Did you hear that, Crackety? Yeah, and I get why Crackety wanted to do it, by the way. It would have been kind of cool to see. So remember, if he stood on the walls, he would have got +1 range. Plus the 0.75 means he'd be at 6.75. He'd actually outrange the Lancastrian and the Yeoman. Looks like we've got more pilgrims being sniped. More stone being gathered, though. Crackety, I think, is prepping for his own tech up. He just needs to switch to food. White tower on the way, though. So Striker feeling paranoid. Interesting he didn't go for King's College, but then again, he can see a counterattack coming. His dive failed, so this does make sense. Wait, is he greeting? He's greeting. Oh my god. If Crackety goes, he could kill him. Even after the tech, actually, he could just kill him. Because the problem now is, like, your opponent, he outblobs you here. So I think Striker needs to make sure he just keeps spamming Yeoman. He definitely has the resources to do so. In fairness, double racks with just a handful of Earl's Guard could protect him. Oh, Crackety, he's actually playing overly defensive because he's worried about the Pilgrims. It kind of makes sense. You have to remember that these guys are worth 260 gold per minute. So you don't want to lose out on it. You know if we can play DLC now if we pre-purchase? I believe no. It is a creator preview. So the idea is content creators to create content, hype it up, to get you guys entertained in prep for the release. But you do still get 15%. And also, it helps support the development of Age of Empires 4. So get ordering. So this is really cool, by the way. King's College is just such a ramp-up point in Castle because it's not just these unique techs. Any technologies are now 15% discounted. See, forestry cheaper, but he's going Burgundian imports. That, I'm surprised by. So I've tested this, guys, and as you guys know, I'm now the world record holder for Agincourt in Knights of Cross and Roses. And I did attempt Burgundian imports, but I found it very lackluster against archer waves. It's the same here, it's just a giant archer wave. Remember, the trade-off of Burgundian imports, you do get hand cannoneers down to 1919 cost, but they are also worse. They have less health, less damage. Archers can snipe them out quite swiftly. More fortresses on the way for Crackety. He's getting ready for a tech up. I would love to see Genu... not Genu, is in the Castilian Kingdom here. He doesn't know about the hand cannoneers, but he sees the yeoman. And boom! My boy Crackety. Not just good on the mic, But hot in the game, we've got Kingdom of Castile on the way. This is smart because he's already leading Sacred Sites to fights. That's going to give him a 20% buffer and heal. But the other really big deal is getting access to the unique ranged cavalry of the Kingdom of Castile. They actually triple their damage against range units. And they will be able to easily outrange hand cannoneers. And in fact, due to the built-in ranged armor, to put it simply, these Castilian cavalry are javelins on horseback. And they're actually priced the same as a javelin. Not kidding. It's 60 food and 60 gold, I believe it was. My boy already has the archer ranges ready to pump. 4 of them at that. Look at these bad boys. 19 seconds. Sorry, it's wood and food. Even better, actually. Like, gold you can afford with KT, but wood's just so much easier to come by because of the chomp down of getting food and wood from the gathering. So this should just be a vomit out of the javelins on horseback. We do also have treasure towers on the way. First time we actually seen this in a caster game. This is going to allow him to just generate a lot more gold off of all the religious sources. So relics, the monasteries, with them inside, sacred sites captured, and pilgrims as well. And what is up, Hackin? Appreciate the sub, mate. Welcome back to Swarm. I love the nomadic element of the wood chopping for Krakody on these KTs. It just allows him to just shift around in a more dynamic way. Good question. Can you train them out stables? No. So the genitals specifically require archer ranges, which I think is fine. There's already just so much in the stables. Like, honestly, it's also from a UX standpoint why they done it this way. Because if they didn't do it this way, you could basically do France into Castile into Poland, and your stables wouldn't actually have enough icons. You'd run out of slots. So actually, it logistically makes sense why they've done it. Archers. You reveal the hand cannoneers. Okay, so Kraken's got to be feeling fairly good. He definitely has to deal with the Earl's Guard issue. That's something that needs to be resolved. Love the use of the damage buff here. This is really important. It's giving him heal. It's giving him a plus 20% increase. That's going to be about 1.4 extra damage. Actually, more than that. Yeah, no, because he's up at 9 damage. So yeah, he's almost getting a rounded 2 damage up. Great use of the kiting here. It means even the Earl's Guards are actually not that tanky. Striker, he neglected to get Undermesh level 2. Krakody, like, it's just raw archers. He's actually not even going genital. Oh my god, I don't think Striker realizes just how big the damage buff is. Guys, this is a Kurtai. This is a Kurtai buff right now on the Castilians. It looks like eventually Striker should be able to win this fight through sheer might. Krakody, however, seems to be stockpiling like crazy. I don't know if this is intentional as a bypass into Imperial, but it's fast turning into that. And with such an insane eco lead, I don't blame him. Second TC has come in for Striker. It's so late. It's so late by comparison. So this, I gotta give it to him, man. This is really crafty. I thought Krakody was going to go Genitor, and I think he maybe was considering it too until he saw the Earl's Guard. And then the smart switch, by going Archers, it just makes him more lean, cost efficient here. And is allowing him to essentially just use the Kurtai buff as its own tech up without needing to go for the unit as well. It's a very efficient way to bypass into Imperial. I mean, it's an impressive tactic, impressive game. I still do judge him deeply for the wall. How can I not? Because, look, guys, it's kind of important, that wall. I'm not going to say he 100% could have killed the castle, but Striker would have had the option to, like, send rams onto the keep. Probably wouldn't have wanted to because it's 5k HP. Or 4k in feudal, I believe. Still, he was kind of deprived of the option. And we mentioned Poland earlier. They're coming in. Okay, so this is cool, remember. With Poland, you get a cool damage buff and health buff to all your cavalry. On top of that, the unique unit you get your hands on is already stacked. Meanwhile, Striker's building cheap cavalry with the Hobblars. Remember, the Hobblars, we call them hobbies, they are cheaper than standard cavalry, although they cost a little bit of gold, but their stats are slightly worse. Compared to what Krakody is about to start pumping out, they are going to look like mice trying to fight a lion. Slatcha cavalry. So, the French buff is going to make them a little bit cheaper. I believe these are normally, I want to say 310 resources. Very balanced on cost, actually. Very much worth it. They are ridiculously powerful because with that 50% damage buff increase on charge, Slatcha cavalry does something around the range of, I think it was 70 damage on a charge. Age up is fast. That's the trade-off. Like, you miss out on 3 villages, but you get the tech up in 1 minute. It's kind of like the Abbasid to the extreme. But understandably so, because of the lack of villages. We do have Ulsgar's now wrapping in. It's only a small handful, though. I think Crackety's more than fine here. He does pull the army back. A bit of a weird reaction. What is Crackety up to? Wait, come on, Crackety. Dude, we're playing Knights Templar. Let's build something other than just archers. There we go! Slatcher cavalry on the way. Is it Slatcher or Slakta? My, like, knowledge of Polish, Lithuanian type linguistics tells me it's Slatcher. By the way, fortresses do change their appearance in age up. They really begin to look cool. And there's the flags we talked about. So you can see France, Poland, and Castile all recruited here. I love the little chests as well. And there you go. There's the final flag we talked about. Got a Frosty Imperial one big. Another fortress on the way. He can just keep spamming these. Beneficial for the fights in the center as well. Remember, that extra range he's going to be getting. In fact, silk bowstrings plus the 15% range kind of goes hard. Okay, like, so here's the thing, Waffle. Typing it Slakta doesn't help. Use, phonetics. Go phonetics, my friend. Is that actually Slakta? That wasn't too far off then with Slachta. Or Slachta. What did I say originally? I forgot myself. Slatcher. You're Slovak? Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact that you want to use phonetics. As in, phonetics is when you type how it sounds. Okay. Maybe I can kind of see where you come from. So it's not Schlachta. I'm getting baited. Slasher. Is it Slasher? That doesn't account for the T. I don't care. Well, I'm going to butcher it then. Schlachta. We'll look it up later. It gives people someone to comment on the YouTube video. Judge coming in. Crackety. This is a lot of Schlachta, and they don't give a crapta about anything Striker's pumping right now. There's the 72 damage charge on the Lance. Remember, these guys also get bonus against light infantry, aka, I don't think they do against the gunpowders. There is going to be a backstab coming in. The Archer's going to go for the trade out. The keep's being blocked, so he does ignore the cavalry, but this is a throwaway of archers to kill off hand cannoneers. I think Crackety's more than happy with this. The Hobbelars, little hobbies do get the best fight they could ask for, but now there's no one left to deal with the Slakta. See, now I'm just changing my own pronunciation. This is just brutal. I just don't see how he survives this. Barky is coming in at least, but now you just bypass, dive to the south side. These guys are impenetrable. They have 472 HP, courtesy of the biology. They are ridiculous. Biology plus the 10% health from the Polish fortitude. It is wild how big these boys are. And no, he's not new. That he couldn't build the keep due to the body blocks, and oh my god, no. We saw Crackety suffer this type of fate due to some heavily armored Lancasters, but this time it's going to be Lancaster that falls under his boot. The question is, do we allow this victory, folks? Crackety did technically use Stonewalls and Feudal.